Larson Show. The big unit is ready to go. The Greg Larson Show. Muck around on the Mazapan. A fresh custard in his hand. The greatest podcast in all the land. Greg Larson Show. Yeah. Great, just what we need, another podcast show.
Hello, this is the Greg Larson Show, coming to you live from New Zealand, Wellington. Well, not live, obviously, pre-recorded, as is the nature of podcasts. I have been banned from Patreon. The big news, and the only thing I want to talk about today, and I don't know how long this episode will be, and it's not gonna. I don't have my sounds, my little fart noises. That was just me. That was an example of what I can do with my mouth. I'm in Wellington. I've been banned from Patreon, and the legal dispute has begun. Officially, 2026 will be the year that I legally battle Patreon Pty Ltd. This is true. I have been banned from Patreon. And to anyone who listens to me, listens to my podcast, who subscribes to my Patreon, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I literally don't know what happened. I got an email from Patreon a couple of weeks ago, right before Christmas, saying, you have violated our community guidelines. You are banned from Patreon. Your page has been removed. You may not start another one. Goodbye. And literally at no point did it say what community guidelines. What was it? A podcast episode? Was it a post? Was it, something I did on Patreon or outside of Patreon? No idea. They literally said nothing. So I responded saying, what community guidelines have I broken? And they didn't respond. And then I said, hey, can you reinstate my page? Tell me, why didn't I get a warning at least? Like, specifically what post, what podcast, what guidelines? What have I violated? What have I done? And I got no reply. So I am taking this matter up with Consumer Affairs Victoria and the ACCC, and also contacting a contract lawyer and VCAT. Now, actually, I'm not even going to be funny about this. This is true. This is what I'm doing, right? I am going to get legal advice on this. I have started a VCAT thing. VCAT is, for anyone not in Victoria, VCAT is the state body place where you go for contract disputes. Now, the thing is, yeah, I fuck around all the time, and I muck around all the time, and I'm always making jokes about my legal battles and my legal, long-term listeners of this podcast and other podcasts I've been on will know, for example, that I went to the Ombudsman about a menu log McDonald's order that I made for $46. I love to go to an ombudsman. I love to make a complaint. I love all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I know I'm a fucking, I know I'm being a bit funny. Like to be honest, when I did the menu log complaint, part of me was thinking this would be funny content. Like this would be it'll be funny to talk about this on stage. I don't need the $46. This is funny to me. But this Patreon thing, I'm not fucking around. Like I had built up quite a number of loyal patrons. Every month my Patreon subscribers were going up, and this was legitimately the entire reason I could keep doing this podcast, and it's literally one of the large sources of income I have as a comedian. Now, I don't want you to feel sorry for me, everyone's doing it tough in a financial crisis. I'm not saying I deserve any pity or anything like that. I'm not saying I deserve charity or handouts, but this is a job I do. This is a job. I'm a comedian. I spend, I know I'm fucking around and it's a fun job, but I also spent a long time being really broke, and I've worked very, very hard to be a comedian. I've sacrificed a lot of things. I work in the arts, and yeah, that's my decision. That's people that want to work in the arts. You might make money, you might not. That's a call you want to make. But people seem to like what I do enough that they wanted to pay me, and I was making money. Now that money has been completely cut off, and that is very bad. Doing a podcast like this. I was going to say every week, but I don't do it every week. It is work, and it's, the pay that I get from Patreon is what allows me to continue doing this and my other comedy and all my stupid shit, right? So they took away my pay, but they took it away without any kind of explanation, without any kind of warning. I have no idea why I've been banned from Patreon. Literally no idea. I don't know what post it was, and you might be sitting there thinking, well, it could be any fucking post. It could be any of your episodes. I know I say a lot of cooked shit. I know that. But to give you a little peek behind the curtain, I don't always like to talk about how the sausage is made, except for when it's real sausages. This is when I would play a sound like Crabman or something, but I don't have my soundboard with me. I'm in New Zealand. But to let you know a little bit about what I do and how I do it, a lot of what I do in comedy seems like I'm just macking around. I'm just saying whatever pops into my head, blah, blah, blah. When I'm on stage, I like to make it seem like I'm just improvising. And sometimes I am, smaller gigs I might be improvising or whatever. But I think about what I'm saying. I write a lot of stuff. Some of the podcast episodes you hear are off the cuff. But off the cuff as in I've written out dot points of what I want to talk about and what I want to say and, the jokes and or topics I want to cover. But I think, and also write, I think through and I write, everything that I'm doing. So even though I say a lot of cooked shit and I joke about, they're going to bloody sue me for defamation and all the rest of it, I know what defamation law is in Australia. I know what is legal and illegal. I know what parody and satire law are. I've literally, on more than one occasion, consulted with actual lawyers about defamation and parody and satire to make sure that I am not going to get sued, or if I was to be sued, that I would be able to win. I actually do know what I'm talking about when it comes to things like parody and satire, defamation, community, standards and practices and all the rest of it, right? And I do know what is permitted and isn't permitted on Patreon. I went through and I clearly knew what the community guidelines were and what was, what would be banned, what kind of things would be banned, things like hate speech or whatever. And so when I say shit on Patreon, on my podcast, I'm very aware, and I will always listen back to each episode at least once, maybe a few times before I upload it, just to double check, especially when it comes to something like the Susan Lay episode, which I believe is the episode, I'm assuming, and I'm kind of just filling in the blanks here, but I think it was the Susan Lay episode that got me banned from Patreon. I listened to that episode twice, and I got another person to listen to it, just so I could cover my bases and go, all right, am I doing anything that could get me in legal trouble here? And the answer was no. Well, the answer I had for myself and the answer that others had given me was, no, you should be fine. Because I think about what I'm saying. right? When I say, for example, that Alan Jones is a sex pest and Sky News knowingly employed a sex pest who groomed young boys, that's, might be considered defamation to some. I would argue that that's not defamation because I'm basing it in truth. He's been charged with crimes of grooming. He has been historically charged with crimes of public indecency in the UK. There's been multiple news articles about him, including one that was in the Sydney Morning Herald, I believe, called The Demons That Drive Alan Jones, that talk about him when he worked at King's School, and the allegations of grooming and his dismissal from that school. So when I say something like that, I know if I was ever sued, if there was ever a defamation thing, I could go, all right, here's 3 different public news articles that reference this. Here's the crime he's been charged with currently. And then I could also talk about the, I guess, what's the fucking word for it? What's the word for it? Circumstantial, like the amount of times that people in the media and stuff, it's an open secret is what I'm saying. It's when I worked at the ABC, everybody knows about Alan Jones and his proclivities, right? Everyone in the media has known that for a long, long time. And I could point to that and say, this is my opinion. My opinion is based on truth. My opinion is based on this, this, and this. It is my opinion, and also I'm a comedian, so I assume that everything I say is, always, to be taken with a grain of salt and to be a little bit, exaggerated for effect and for comedy purposes, right? And the other thing is, so when it comes to defamation law, you have a defense of, truth. If something is true, then it's not defamation. If something is true enough and you can say, well, my opinion is reflected by these facts and these facts and these facts, and it is my opinion, then you can also defend your position. This is not legal advice, by the way. This is just stuff I've looked up and talked to lawyers about. I'm just saying that I know what I'm talking about. When it comes to things like parody and satire, I know that under Australian law you can use music and audio and all kinds of artworks if you're making parody or satire. You can take music and change the lyrics and it becomes a satire, like, Weird Al Yankovic or whatever, right? The laws are very, very broad and very, very untested in Australia about parody and satire, but you can get away with quite a lot. You can play copyright materials when you're reviewing it, when you're offering criticism, when you're parodying it, when you're satirizing it. So I felt comfortable with just about anything I've done there. I know, and the other thing with stuff like defamation is I can stand by, I said like Sky News, for example, hired Lauren Southern, a known neo-Nazi who inspired the Christchurch killer. I can point to facts and say, well, the Christchurch killer made his manifesto The Great Replacement. That was something that Lauren Southern wrote about quite a lot. There was evidence that the Christchurch killer had donated to Lauren Southern this I could be getting wrong. She was working for some news agency, I forget which, but he donated to them and to her, and he was a supporter of her. Lauren Southern also hired known neo-Nazis to be her security when she was in Australia for a tour once. I can point to all these things, and these are all public knowledge, and Sky News definitely would have known about it, so I can say confidently that Lauren Southern, who inspired the Christchurch killer, was a neo-Nazi, and she was hired by Sky News. And I feel confident that I can get away with that because I can point to evidence. And if someone was to sue me, I would go, cool, I'll fucking go to court, cunt. I don't care. And that's the other thing. Unlike the ABC or, a lot of people in the media, everyone's so worried about defamation, but fucking give it a crack. We've just seen, this is a very Australian reference for any international listeners, but we've just seen Bruce Lehrmann sue someone for defamation and lose. We saw, what's that war criminal cunt? What's that fucking Ben Roberts-Smith? He sued newspapers for defamation for saying he was a war criminal, and he lost because they could base it on truth. And full credit to the boys, full credit to honestly, I can't remember who they were suing specifically. I think Bruce Lamb, and I forget who he was suing specifically. I'm sure Ben Roberts-Smith was suing Channel 9, but full credit to them for not settling, for going, no, we're not going to settle it. We're going to test it in court. Most people will just settle it. Most organizations settle it. Don't settle. If you think you can stand by it, fucking stand by it. Fucking say it. And then if they want to sue, fucking let the courts decide. But anyway, the long and the short of it is, I've said something or done something on Patreon that has gotten me banned. And another thing I want to point out, if you're a Patreon listener, I've had a couple of Patreon subscribers contact me who have said that they hadn't gotten a refund from Patreon. Now, I don't know if that's happening or not, but basically the way it works is you subscribe to me, you pay Patreon X amount of money. My tier was, I only had one tier, it was a $5 tier. That was $5 US, so I don't know what that is in Australian. I had a $5 tier. Listeners will pay $5 that goes to Patreon, and then once a month, Patreon pay me, minus their commission and their fees and all the rest of it, right? Now, I was just about to get paid for the month. When they cancelled it, I now will not get paid, but a couple of subscribers have told me, Patreon's told me nothing, they won't respond to my emails. A couple of subscribers have told me that they have not received a refund for the money they've paid. So they have paid it, I haven't gotten it, Patreon's gotten it. If that is the case with you, if you are a subscriber, take that up with Patreon. If they don't respond, or if they don't give you a refund automatically, you can take it up with, various state ombudsmen, state bodies, all the rest of it. If you're in Victoria, it's Consumer Affairs Victoria. If you're in New South Wales, it's New South Wales Fair Trading. There's various places you can go to seek a refund. But more than that, if you want to complain about it, you can complain to places like the ACCC. If you feel like you've had your money taken unfairly or unjustly, or that you feel like what they've done to you as a consumer, having paid for my subscription and then having that subscription cancelled, and now you don't have access to any of the old stuff, I mean, take it up with them. Get a refund for the whole lot. I don't know. I don't know what your rights are, but you don't know what your rights are. The only one who does is the ACCC or Consumer Affairs Victoria or whatever. And this goes to a larger point that I want to make, right? I'm on the warpath because I'm pissed off, and I am pissed off. But I don't expect any sorrow or guilt. Pity for me. Like, this is my issue, I'll deal with it, whatever, I'm fine. But it pisses me off, and I'm going to fucking deal with it. And people might say, and a couple of my friends have said, for example, well, that's their terms and conditions, you can't do anything. Well, no, that's for the ombudsman to decide. Like, a contract, people will accept this, and I know someone, and I won't go into too much detail because I think they just wanted the whole thing to go away, but I know someone who gave a bad review to an Airbnb and was sent a legal letter saying the terms and conditions say that you can't review us poorly, you have to pay us $1,000 compensation. And this person went, shit, the terms and conditions said it, I better pay. Because it's in the contract. I signed the contract. I should have read it. I better pay. Nah, man. No fucking way. A contract can't say something, can't just say anything. It can't say anything. Contracts can be declared null and void if they have terms and conditions that are fucked. There are so many companies and agencies, and real estate agencies in particular, that will straight up put things in their contracts and their terms and conditions that are illegal. It happens constantly. And the only way anyone knows is if you contact, in Australia, the ACCC or your state body or an ombudsman or something and say, hey, I think this contract is fucking illegal. I think what is being said in this contract is wrong. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But you're not a lawyer. Go to them. Oftentimes it's free. It's free to make a complaint. It's free to report something. Like I couldn't make a contract. I couldn't lease a house. I couldn't rent out a house. I wouldn't rent out a house because that would make me a landlord and I'd be scum. But if I rented out a house, I couldn't put in the lease, if you don't mow the lawn, I get to kill you. I get to shoot you in the head. And then they wouldn't go, the government or the police wouldn't go, well, no, the lease said you get to get shot in the head, so unfortunately they get to shoot you in the head. No, they go, no, that's illegal. You can't put that in a contract. This contract is null and void. Now, I believe that what Patreon did to me either is illegal or should be illegal. Now, I don't know if either of those things are true, but I'm going to try and find out because I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to test it. I believe that they can't just tell me you violated the guidelines. And then when I say what guidelines, they just say the guidelines. Just the guidelines. I believe that either is illegal or should be illegal. Now, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if it's illegal. I don't know if it should be illegal. But I'm going to try and find out. I'm going to go to someone who does. I've lodged a thing with Consumer Affairs Victoria to say I think my contract was terminated in bad faith or like in a way that contravenes law. And they're going to tell me whether or not I have a case or not. I'm going to give it a go. And fucking who knows? Maybe it'll work out, maybe it doesn't. But it seems fucked to me. It seems fucked that you could just say, you violated the terms and conditions, thing cancelled, without even saying which term and condition, which post. No warning. No like, you get a strike, or we take one post down, or demonetize you, or say you're suspended. Or even just say, this was the guideline that you broke. Even if it was like a fucking, what's the term? Zero tolerance policy, right? Even if they still have to tell you, like your real estate agent can't just go, you're evicted, and you go, why am I evicted? Because you broke the lease. How did I break the lease? Because you just did. No, they have to tell you. It's because you didn't pay your rent or, whatever. And Patreon took my money, the money I was supposed to get. They took your money. And that's just gone now, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where it's going. They won't talk to me. They won't respond to my emails. They won't tell me what's going on. So I'm taking it up legally. And again, this is not a fucking pity party. This isn't, I'm on the crusade here. Like, I am on the crusade, a personal crusade. But I'll be fine, whatever. I'll go to I'll figure out some other fucking service that can, people can subscribe to. Maybe an OnlyFans. Maybe I'll just start fingering my own asshole on an OnlyFans. But the point is that I'm not going to just fucking let it go. And yeah, I joke all the time about being petty and, I'm taking this up with the government. But you know what? Like, your landlord's going to be petty. When you move out, your landlord's going to go through your house with a fine-tooth comb and find any way they can to withhold $100 from your bond, $200. Kmart's going to be petty when you go buy something and you go, and it's $20 and you go, I got $15. They're not going to go, don't worry about the $5. They're going to go, no, give me the $5. Even if you're 10 cents short, they'll probably go, no, you got to give me the 10 cents. Any company you deal with is going to be petty and pedantic. And every time you just let it go or say, well, I guess that's their, they have a no refund policy without actually testing it and going to Consumer Affairs, you're basically letting them off the hook. And I know, we're all busy and we've all got shit on and we don't all have time to fucking make an ombudsman complaint because you tried to buy one of those FM transmitters for your car because it was an old car and then the FM transmitter didn't work and you're like, can I get my $20 back? And they're like, nah, no refunds. But you're like, you have to give a refund if it doesn't work anyway. But like, if you got the time, do it. Like, fucking hold these cunts to account. Because big corporations, places like Patreon, places like your fucking landlord who owns 57 investment properties, they make a mint by ripping off thousands of people a few bucks at a time, right? They can make a mint. There's been many times. I mean, that's what a class action lawsuit is, right? There's been many times where a big company will rip off thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people for just a few bucks. So no one complains until someone notices and goes, hang on a second, and like, let's fucking fix this. And when you make a complaint, if multiple people make a complaint, right? And I don't know if your Patreon has stolen your money. I have no idea, right? I don't know if you've gotten an automatic refund. But if I was you, and I'm not saying this to be like, fucking help me out. I'm saying if I paid money to a Patreon, because the other thing, you get bonus episodes and extra, episodes and all that. I don't know if you have access to any of that anymore. Probably you don't. All the stuff I've posted on Patreon, all the extra episodes and all the rest of it, that's all gone, I guess. And if I'd paid money for that, I would expect to be able to access that. And now I can't. So I would complain to Patreon. And if they did nothing, I would complain to Consumer Affairs Victoria. So that's what I'm doing with my Patreon account. I'm launching a legal fight. The Legal Battle 2026 Greg v. Patreon. Also, fuck Patreon and fuck Sky News. And also, yes, who's to say what got my Patreon banned? I don't know. They won't tell me. They won't tell me what episode they won't. I've been through all this, right? But and this is an assumption. This is an assumption, but I think I have fairly good reason to believe this. I've said a lot of negative stuff about Israel, and the stuff I said about Israel in many episodes, including the most recent episode about Susan Ley, there is a very, very strong and concerted, is that a word? I don't know if concerted is a word, but a very coordinated effort. The Israeli lobby is trying to shut down, and I'm not saying I'm any kind of fucking big deal or important voice. I'm just some dumb fuck with a little microphone, a Yeti orb. But they are making an effort to cancel and shut down anyone who says anything bad about Israel. We know this with Antoinette Lattouf, who was sacked from the ABC because she shared an article. Basically, I can't remember the exact details of the article she shared, but she said something on Twitter that was critical of Israel. She was sacked from the ABC. The court of law found that she was wrongfully sacked. And that's been happening all over. There was an author, and I forget her name, and I should have looked it up, but I didn't, who's been banned from the Adelaide Writers' Festival because she's Palestinian and she had some critical stuff to say about Israel. There was a comedian called Paul Curry who was banned from the Melbourne International Comedy Festival because he said Israel was bad in a show in Soho Theatre in London. He was also banned from the Soho Theatre because the Israeli lobby is going after everyone of any kind of status, high or low, content creators, TV personalities, podcasters, whatever. They are hardcore going after people who say anything bad about Israel whilst Israel is committing the genocide that it is committing currently in Gaza. And I don't believe, I would say if I was a betting man, I would bet $200 that's the reason my Patreon was shut down. Yeah, I'd bet $200. Enough that I'd be like, fuck, I lost $200, but not enough that it would kill me. It could just be because I'd made too many fart sounds or sounds of wet, sloppy dick sounds. But that there was no terms and conditions about wet, sloppy dick sounds. So who knows? I don't know why I was banned. It could have been the Carl Large episode where I had sounds of a dude going, fuck yeah, I'm going to come in your ass. Maybe that's it. But I thought that was within the guidelines, and I've done that heaps of times. I've made all kinds of fucked sounds on there. So who knows? It could be bloody anything. But I am theorizing. Not saying I know, but theorizing. If I find out it was because of the Israel thing, I'm going to be critical of Israel regardless, but fucking, I'll let you know about it. I'm currently trying to find out from Patreon. At the very least, what I'm trying to find out and what the complaints that I'm making is, why was I banned? Like, okay, I'm banned, well, just why? Like, just tell me why. But in reality, like, there is regardless of whether or not I was banned because of my criticism of Israel, people are being banned and cancelled. People are losing their jobs because they criticize Israel. And I don't really know what to do about that, other than to say, keep criticizing Israel. They have committed genocide. It doesn't, yeah, a lot of bad things have happened. October 7 was terrible. The massacre in Bondi was fucking absolutely terrible. That doesn't change the fact that Israel committed genocide. And they are continuing to commit genocide. On a daily basis, Israel is violating the ceasefire and killing Palestinian civilians. The killing hasn't stopped. It just keeps happening. So keep criticizing them, keep marching, keep putting up posts, keep writing to, members of parliament. Just do whatever you can. I don't know. It's fucking driving me fucking crazy. It's one of those things where I can't believe what I'm seeing, that any other country, anyway, this is not even an episode about Israel. This is an episode about me being banned from Patreon. I'm the victim here. But yeah, that's basically it. I've been banned from Patreon, so you can't support me on Patreon anymore. Who knows how much longer this podcast will go on. I'll keep doing it. I will keep doing it, but I got to find a way of making it viable. I've got to figure out a way to make money now. But that's my problem. Don't worry about that. But if you feel like Patreon has fucked you over, let them know. Let whatever state or government body you can know. If you haven't gotten your full refund, I'd be asking for a refund for the whole lot if I don't have access to all the stuff. But that's up to you. Whatever. But yeah, so that's why I'm not on Patreon anymore. But just checking in, and that's the lot. So yes, Greg from New Zealand. I'll be back with a better, funnier episode that's properly written when I get back to Melbourne next week. So thanks very much. I love you, and I'll see you later.
The Greg Larson Show. The big unit is ready to go. The Greg Larson Show. Muck around on the Mazapan. A fresh custard in his hand. The greatest podcast in all the land. Greg Larson Show. Yeah. Great, just what we need, another podcast show.